My boyfriend said his cousin's wedding was family only. No plus ones. I believed him. The next day his cousin posted pictures. There he was, slow dancing with a brunette, kissing her temple, her wearing his suit jacket. The caption, "Most beautiful couple at my wedding." His mom commented, "Finally, a daughter-in-law I can be proud of." I clicked on her profile. It was Rachel, my former best friend who I had lost touch with 2 years ago. The same Rachel who was my roommate when Brian and I first started dating. I found her Instagram, 3 years of date nights during his work trips, anniversary dinners on my birthday when he had food poisoning. That night, he showed me carefully cropped wedding photos. I smiled and played along. 3 days later, he was screaming into my voicemail. I am sitting in the break room at Target in Ballantyne, staring at this pathetic granola bar that I cannot even bring myself to eat, and I need to write this all down before I completely lose my mind. You know those moments where you realize your entire life has been one massive lie? Where every single memory you thought was real turns out to be part of some elaborate performance. That is exactly where I am right now, and I am about to tell you how my 3-year relationship imploded in the most spectacular way possible. It has been exactly 1 week and a half since Brian's cousin Megan got married at the Duke Mansion. The wedding that was supposedly family only, absolutely no plus ones allowed. You know how Southern families are about tradition and keeping things intimate. I had been disappointed but understanding. 3 years together, 3 years, and I thought, okay, some families are just particular about their guest lists. Brian seemed genuinely torn up about it, kept apologizing for weeks leading up to it, said his aunt was being incredibly strict about the head count because the venue had limitations. He promised the next family event would be different. He would make sure I was included. The morning after the wedding, I was getting ready for my Saturday shift, scrolling through Instagram while doing my makeup. Megan had posted this massive photo carousel. You know the type, like 40 photos documenting every single second of her special day. The first few were standard, her in the dress looking radiant, the ceremony at Myers Park Presbyterian looking like something out of Southern living, the reception setup with those ridiculous expensive centerpieces. Then I saw photo number 7, and my entire world tilted off its axis. Brian was slow dancing with this gorgeous brunette in a deep burgundy dress. His hand was resting on the small of her back in that intimate way he holds me when we dance. Her head was nestled against his shoulder, and both of them looked like they had stepped out of some Nicholas Sparks movie filmed in the heart of Charlotte. But that was not even the worst part. The worst part was that I recognized her immediately. Rachel, who had been my roommate junior year at UNC Charlotte. Rachel, who had held my hair back when I got food poisoning from that sketchy taco place on South Boulevard. Rachel, who had been there the night I first met Brian at that Panthers tailgate party in South End. Rachel, who had mysteriously started getting too busy to hang out right around the time Brian and I got serious. Rachel, who had moved to Raleigh for a job opportunity 2 years ago and slowly faded out of my life despite my attempts to maintain our friendship. That Rachel. I literally dropped my mascara wand on my vanity and it rolled onto the floor, leaving a black streak on the white tile. Tasha, my current roommate, heard me make this strangled gasping sound and came running from the kitchen asking if I was having a medical emergency. But I could not stop staring at my phone. I kept swiping through the photos and it got progressively worse. So much worse. Photo 8. Brian whispering something in Rachel's ear while she throws her head back laughing, his hand possessively on her hip. Photo 9. Rachel wearing Brian's suit jacket over her shoulders, his arm around her waist as they pose with his parents. Photo 10. Brian kissing her temple at what is clearly the family table during dinner, his mom Denise beaming at them like they are the second coming of Christ. Photo 11. The two of them on the dance floor again, this time with other couples, but they only have eyes for each other. The caption on the post made me want to throw my phone through the window. So blessed to celebrate with family. Special shout out to the most beautiful couple at my wedding. Love you both so much. With Brian and Rachel tagged. But wait, it gets better. The comments section was where things really got interesting. Denise, Brian's mother, who has treated me like I am some gold-digging opportunist since day one, who always has something passive-aggressive to say about my job at Target or my apartment in University City, or the fact that I did not pledge a sorority, had written, finally, a daughter-in-law I can be proud of. Welcome to the family officially, Rachel. His father commented, about time you locked this one down, son. His brother Tyler, who I had been told was traveling in Europe and could not make it to the wedding, left 5 fire emojis under the dancing photo with the comment, my brother finally got it right. And Brian, my boyfriend of 3 years, the man who told me he loved me every single day, who had talked about our future children and the house we would buy in Myers Park, had liked the post and commented, amazing day, thanks for having us. Us. Not him. Us. Tasha had to physically pry my phone out of my hands because I was gripping it so hard my knuckles were white. She made me sit down on my bed and asked what was wrong, and when I showed her, she went through the same stages I did: confusion, recognition, shock, and then pure unbridled rage. Is that not Rachel? She kept saying. Your Rachel? Roommate Rachel? The Rachel who used to borrow your clothes and never return them? Rachel? Yes, that Rachel. Tasha wanted to get in her car right then and drive to Brian's apartment in Dilworth, but I told her no. I needed to think. I needed to process. And more importantly, I needed to investigate. I went to work, but I was completely useless. Marcus, my manager, asked if I was feeling all right because I had scanned the same item 4 times and nearly gave a customer $200 in change for a 20. Kayla, my coworker, tried to cover for me, bless her heart, but even she could tell something was seriously wrong. During my lunch break, I sat in the bathroom stall and did what any rational person would do. I turned into a full-blown social media detective. I went to Rachel's Instagram profile. It was still public, thank God for small miracles and people who do not understand privacy settings. Her last post before the wedding was from 2 weeks ago, a mirror selfie in what looked like a hotel room with the caption, "Getting ready for the best weekend ever." But I needed to go deeper. I started scrolling back through her posts, and what I found made me want to scream so loud they would hear me in Gastonia. 6 months ago, a photo of 2 wine glasses on a rooftop bar overlooking the Charlotte skyline. Date nights with my favorite person. And there, barely visible in the corner of the frame, was Brian's watch. The vintage Rolex his grandfather had left him that he never ever took off. 8 months ago, a bouquet of peonies on a marble countertop. He knows the way to my heart. Peonies? My favorite flowers that Brian always brought me after a fight. That I had specifically told him were my favorites because they reminded me of my grandmother's garden. 10 months ago, a photo of a candlelit dinner spread, celebrating our anniversary at the most perfect place. The date, March 15th. The same night Brian had told me he had to attend a mandatory work conference in Colombia. I had spent that night eating Chinese takeout alone and watching Netflix. 1 year ago, a couple's shadow on the beach at sunset. Hilton Head with my love. During the exact week Brian was supposedly at his company's annual training in Ohio. I had actually looked up his hotel to send him a surprise delivery of cookies, but he had told me they were not allowed to receive packages for security reasons. 18 months ago, a photo of men's clothing laid out on a bed. Love when he leaves things at my place. The shirt was the blue button-down I had bought Brian for his birthday. The one he said he had lost at the gym. 2 years ago, a selfie in a Panthers jersey at Bank of America Stadium. Game day with my favorite person. Posted the same day Brian had told me he was going to the game with his brother and it was a guys-only thing. The posts went back 3 years. 3 years. Our entire relationship. But here is where it gets even more twisted. I realized that Rachel had been strategically cropping or angling every photo to never fully show Brian's face. You could see his hands, his watch, his clothes, the back of his head, maybe a partial profile but never his full face. It was deliberate, calculated, like she knew exactly what she was doing. I went back further, to when Rachel and I were still friends, still living together. And there it was, a group photo from a bar in Noda, dated 3 years and 2 months ago. 2 weeks before that Panthers tailgate where I met Brian for the first time. Rachel was in the photo, and there in the background, partially cut off but definitely recognizable once you knew to look for it, was Brian. Talking to her, leaning close, intimate body language. They had known each other before I ever met him. Which meant that night at the tailgate, when Rachel had encouraged me to go talk to that cute guy by the beer tent, when she had said he looked like my type, when she had practically pushed me in his direction, she already knew him. They were already together. I ran out of the bathroom and barely made it to the parking lot before I threw up behind my car. Kayla found me out there dry hiving and insisted on driving me home, told Marcus I had food poisoning. The irony was not lost on me. When I got home, Tasha had already opened a bottle of wine and was ready for war, but I told her I needed to see what Brian would do. I needed to know if he would come clean or if he would keep lying. He came over that evening around 7, like we had planned earlier in the week, walked in with takeout from our favorite Thai place on East Boulevard, gave me a huge kiss, told me he had missed me so much and could not wait to tell me all about the wedding. I want to see photos, I said, channeling every ounce of fake enthusiasm I could muster. He pulled out his phone eagerly, started swiping through his camera roll, and I watched absolutely mesmerized as he showed me photo after photo that had been expertly edited. Rachel had been cropped out of every single one. Every single one. Photos with his cousins, his parents, the venue, the food, the ceremony, but no trace of the brunette in the burgundy dress. "Who did you sit with at dinner?" I asked. My voice so casual it deserved an Oscar. "Oh, just my boring aunt and uncle from Wilmington. They would not stop talking about their renovation. You are lucky you missed it. Did you dance at all?" "Just with my mom and Megan. You know I do not like dancing without you, babe." He looked me straight in the eyes and lied with such ease, such conviction, that if I had not seen the evidence myself, I would have believed him completely. This man had elevated gaslighting to an art form. He stayed over that night. I will not go into details, but lying there afterward while he slept peacefully beside me, snoring softly like he did not have a care in the world, I went through his phone. I know, violation of privacy and all that, but frankly I was past caring about moral high grounds. His text messages had been carefully curated. The thread with Rachel was saved under Raj Thompson with no photo, and the messages were sparse and coded. Things like "see you at 8 inches" and "confirmed for Saturday" that could easily be explained as work-related if I had ever stumbled upon them. But his photo album told a different story. There was a hidden folder, password protected, but I knew his passwords because we had been together for 3 years, filled with photos of them together. Recent photos. Photos from the wedding where they were definitely not trying to hide their relationship. Photos from trips I had never known about. Photos from dates on nights he was supposedly working late. One photo in particular made me see red Rachel wearing lingerie I had bought for our anniversary, posed on a bed I did not recognize. The metadata showed it was taken 2 months ago. During a weekend, Brian had supposedly gone home to help his dad with yard work. I carefully airdropped myself every single photo, then put his phone back exactly where I had found it. Then I went to sit on my bathroom floor and stare at the wall until the sun came up. Saturday morning, Brian left early, said he had to help his dad with something at their house in Myers Park. The second his car pulled away, I called in sick to work and started putting together a timeline. Every lie, every work trip, every family obligation, every food poisoning incident. I cross-referenced them with Rachel's Instagram posts and the pattern was clear as day. My 27th birthday when Brian had food poisoning from bad sushi. Rachel had posted about a romantic anniversary dinner. The weekend I had planned for us to go to Asheville that he had to cancel because of a work emergency. Rachel had posted mountain views and wine tastings. The time he could not come to my cousin's wedding because he could not get out of a client dinner. Rachel had posted about being someone's date to a wedding, complete with a photo of their place cards together at the reception. 3 years. 3 years of elaborate lies, carefully orchestrated deceptions, and gaslighting on a level that should be studied by psychologists. Sunday, I could barely function. Brian texted me good morning like always, said he was going to watch football with the guys but would see me Monday after work. I responded normally, even sent him a heart emoji. Tasha kept looking at me like I had lost my mind, but I told her I needed to see how this would play out. Monday came. I went to work. Pretended everything was normal. Brian texted throughout the day, funny memes, comments about his annoying coworker, plans for the weekend, just regular boyfriend texts from a man who definitely was not living a complete double life. Then Tuesday morning, my phone exploded. 17 missed calls from Brian. 17, plus a series of increasingly panicked texts. Call me back. Please call me immediately. This is urgent. I can explain everything. Please, baby. Please pick up. I know what this looks like, but it is not what you think. Please answer your phone. The voicemail started calm but quickly devolved into complete panic. By voicemail number 8, he was practically hyperventilating, saying something about Instagram, something about misunderstandings, something about needing to explain in person immediately. I took my sweet time getting ready for work, did my full skincare routine, made myself actual breakfast for the first time in weeks. Tasha watched me move through my morning routine with eerie calm and said I looked like a serial killer preparing for something. Finally, at 8 in the morning, I called him back. Thank God, he gasped before I could even say hello. Where are you? I am coming there right now. We need to talk immediately. This is all a huge misunderstanding. I am getting ready for work. I said calmly. I have the opening shift. What is wrong? You have not seen it? The Instagram posts? My cousin's wedding photos? What about them? I asked, playing completely dumb. I have been really busy. Is everything okay? There are some photos that might look weird, but I swear to God it is not what it looks like. That girl, she is just someone my mom invited. I barely know her. We were just being polite for the cameras. What girl? I asked innocently. Just can we meet? Please, I will come to your work. I will call in sick. I will meet you anywhere. I get off at 5. We can meet at the Harris Teeter parking lot on Providence. I need to grab groceries anyway. He tried to push for somewhere more private, his apartment, my apartment, even suggested his parents' house, which was absolutely unhinged, but I held firm. Public place, 5 o'clock, Harris Teeter parking lot. During my lunch break, I got a text from an unknown number. Is this the girl who has been dating Brian? My heart stopped. Then another text. This is Tyler, his brother. We need to talk. Tyler. The brother who had supposedly been in Europe, who had commented on those wedding photos, who knew everything. I called him back immediately. I am sorry to text you out of nowhere, he said, but I got your number from Brian's phone this morning when he was in the shower having a complete meltdown. What do you want? I asked. I want to tell you the truth about my brother, and about Rachel. Rachel's name hit me like a physical blow. You know about Rachel? Everyone knows about Rachel. Our entire family knows about Rachel. She and Brian have been together for almost 4 years. They met through our church's young professionals group. 4 years. Not 3. 4. But Brian and I have been together for 3 years. I said weakly. I know, Tyler said. That is why I am calling you. My brother is a pathological liar and you deserve to know the truth. He proceeded to tell me everything, how Brian and Rachel had been the golden couple in their family's social circle, how their parents were best friends with Rachel's parents, how everyone had been expecting them to get engaged soon, how Brian had been living this double life, telling his family that I was just some girl he occasionally hung out with from work, nothing serious, while telling me that Rachel was nobody important. At the wedding, Tyler continued. I noticed Brian being really weird about photos, like he was trying to control where he stood, which ones were being taken. It did not sit right with me. So after everyone got drunk at the reception, I went through his phone. Found everything. Your texts, your photos, evidence of your 3-year relationship. I confronted him this morning. What did he say? He completely broke down, said he loved you but could not figure out how to break things off with Rachel because their families are so intertwined. Said he had gotten in too deep and did not know how to get out. So I am the other woman. I said, the reality finally hitting me. No. Tyler said firmly. You are both victims here. Rachel has no idea about you either. Brian told her you were just a coworker he had to occasionally take to work events. She thinks they are getting engaged soon. She has been looking at rings. I thanked Tyler for telling me and hung up. Then I sat in the Target break room and stared at the wall while everything I thought I knew rearranged itself in my head. But there was one thing that did not make sense. If Rachel did not know about me, why had she been so careful about cropping Brian out of photos? Why the strategic angles? Unless she did know. Unless she had known all along. I went back to her Instagram and looked more carefully. In the comments of her posts, buried among the heart emojis and couple goals comments, there were occasionally questions. Who is the lucky guy? When do we get to meet him? And Rachel's responses were always vague. Soon, he is shy. Keeping this one to myself for now. She knew. She had to know. You do not hide someone's face for 3 years unless you know there is a reason to hide it. 5 o'clock came. I drove to Harris Teeter feeling remarkably calm. Brian's car was already there and he practically jumped out when he saw me pull up. He tried to hug me. I stepped back. We need to talk, I said, but I am not doing the thing where you touch me and I forget why I am upset. We sat in my car. He immediately launched into his explanation, word vomit about stress, mistakes, misunderstandings, how much he loved me, how the wedding photos were taken out of context, how Rachel meant nothing to him. How long have you been with Rachel? I asked, cutting him off. It is not like that. How long? He got quiet. Then 4 years. But it is not serious with her. It has not been serious for a long time. 4 years, I repeated. You have been with her for 4 years and me for 3. I fell in love with you, he said desperately. I did not expect it to happen. I met you and everything changed. Rachel and I, it is just obligation at this point. Our families, stop, I said. Just stop. I know everything, Brian. I know about the trips you took together. I know about the anniversaries you celebrated. I know you told your family I was just some work friend. I know you have been sleeping with both of us. I know about the hidden photos in your phone. His face went white. You went through my phone? That is what you are concerned about right now. Me going through your phone? He started crying then, actually crying, talking about how he had been living in hell, how the stress was killing him, how he wanted to be with me but could not figure out how to untangle himself from Rachel and his family's expectations. Did Rachel know about me? I asked. He hesitated just a second too long. No, she had no idea. You are lying. She did not know, he insisted. I swear she did not know. Then why did she encourage me to talk to you that night at the tailgate? Why did she suddenly get too busy to hang out once we started dating? Why did she move to Raleigh right when things got serious between us? Brian's face crumpled. I do not know what you are talking about. But he did. I could see it in his eyes. He knew exactly what I was talking about. She knew. I said quietly. My best friend knew she was sleeping with my boyfriend for 3 years. It was not supposed to happen like this, he said desperately. Rachel and I were having problems when I met you. We were basically broken up, but then our families kept pushing us together and I did not know how to tell them about you, and Rachel said we should just keep things quiet until we figured it out. She knew? I screamed, finally losing my composure. This whole time she knew? People in the parking lot were starting to stare. Brian was trying to calm me down, reaching for my hands, but I yanked them away. Get out of my car. Please. Just let me explain. Get out. He got out but stood by my door, still trying to talk to me through the window. I drove away, leaving him standing in the Harris Teeter parking lot looking like his world had just ended. Which, as it turned out, it had. When I got home, Tasha was waiting with wine and tissues, but I was not sad. I was furious, the kind of fury that burns cold and clear and gives you perfect focus. I want to destroy him. I told her. I want to destroy both of them. Now we are talking, Tasha said, pulling out her laptop. Let us burn it all down. We stayed up until 3 in the morning. Not crying, not eating ice cream, not doing any of the traditional breakup activities. No, we were planning. First, I created a burner Instagram account. Then I went through and screenshotted everything. Every photo from Rachel's account, every family comment from the wedding photos, every piece of evidence I had gathered. I organized them chronologically, creating a perfect timeline of their deception. Then I did something that maybe I should feel bad about, but I do not. I sent everything to Megan, Brian's cousin who had just gotten married. The message was simple. Congratulations on your wedding. You should know that the beautiful couples you celebrated has been lying to everyone for 3 years. Brian has been in a relationship with me this entire time. Rachel knew about it. They both knew. Here is the proof. Then I sat back and waited. Wednesday morning, my phone started buzzing at 6 a.m. Not Brian this time, Rachel. 7 missed calls, 15 texts, all varying versions of, "We need to talk. This is not what you think. Please call me back. I can explain everything. I never meant for it to happen like this." I did not respond. By noon, the explosion had truly begun. Megan had apparently confronted Brian and Rachel. Their families were in chaos. Tyler texted me to say that their mother was having a complete meltdown, their father was threatening to cut Brian off, and Rachel's parents were demanding answers. Brian left me 43 voicemails that day. I did not listen to a single one. Thursday afternoon, I got a call from an unknown number. Against my better judgment, I answered. It was Denise, Brian's mother. "I think we need to talk," she said coldly. "Can you meet me for lunch on Saturday?" I agreed, partly out of curiosity and partly because I wanted to see how she would try to spin this. Saturday, I met her at Brio in South Park. She was already seated when I arrived, looking impeccable as always in her designer dress and pearls, but I could see the stress in the tight lines around her mouth. So, she said once we had ordered, "You are the girl who has been seeing my son." For 3 years, yes. She winced slightly. He told me it was casual. He told me he loved me. He told me he wanted to marry me. We talked about children, about buying a house together. Does that sound casual to you? She took a sip of her wine. Rachel's family has been part of our lives for 15 years. Her father helped Brian get his job. They vacation with us every summer in Charleston. This situation is complicated. No, I said. It is actually very simple. Your son is a liar and a cheater. He deceived 2 women for years. There is nothing complicated about that. You do not understand how these things work, she said dismissively. Brian and Rachel are from the same world. They fit together. You are, she paused, looking at my Target name badge that I had deliberately worn to this lunch. Lovely, I am sure. But you are not part of our social circle. So that makes it okay, because I work retail and did not go to the right sorority? I am saying that perhaps it would be best for everyone if you stepped back and let Brian and Rachel work things out. They have history. Their families are connected. In the long run. I started laughing. Actually laughing right there in the middle of Brio. Are you seriously sitting here trying to convince me to disappear quietly so your son can continue his relationship with the woman he cheated on me with? Or, wait, I guess technically he cheated on her with me. I cannot even keep track anymore. There is no need to be dramatic. Your son told his entire family I was nobody. He let you all believe I was some desperate girl clinging to him. Meanwhile, he was sleeping in my bed 3 nights a week, spending holidays with my family, planning our future together. And you want me to be a less dramatic? She pursed her lips. I am thinking of what is best for everyone. No, I interrupted. You are thinking about what is best for your reputation. What will people at the country club say when they find out your perfect son has been living a double life? What will Rachel's parents think? How will this affect your social standing? I think we are done here, she said stiffly, signaling for the check. We certainly are. I agreed. But just so you know, I am not going away quietly. I am not disappearing to make your life easier. Your son did this. He made these choices, and everyone is going to know about it. She left without another word, and I sat there finishing my salad feeling oddly satisfied. That afternoon, Brian showed up at my apartment. Tasha answered the door. She does not want to see you, she told him. Please, he begged. Just 5 minutes. I need to explain. Explain what? I called from behind Tasha. Explain how you manipulated 2 women for 3 years. Explain how you let your best friend help you deceive me. Explain how you told your family I was nothing. It was not like that. Then what was it like? Brian, tell me. Make me understand how you accidentally ended up in a relationship with 2 women at the same time for 3 years. He stood there in my doorway looking pathetic. I love you, he said quietly. I know you do not believe me, but I do. I love you more than I have ever loved anyone. You do not even know what love is. I said, love is not lying. Love is not hiding someone. Love is not making someone feel crazy for questioning things. Love is not what you did to me. Please, he said again. I will do anything. I will tell everyone the truth. I will break up with Rachel officially. I will cut off my family if that is what it takes. Just please, give me another chance. You want to know what the really sick part is? I said. I probably would have, if you had been honest with me from the beginning. If you had said you were in a complicated situation but you wanted to be with me, I probably would have waited for you to figure it out. But you did not. You lied and lied and lied, and you got Rachel to lie too, and you made me doubt my own reality for 3 years. That is not something you come back from. He started crying again. Please do not do this. Please, I cannot lose you. You already did, I said, and closed the door in his face. He stood outside my apartment for 2 hours. I know because I could see him through the peephole. Finally, one of my neighbors threatened to call the police, and he left. Sunday morning, I woke up to a text from a number I did not recognize. When I opened it, it was Rachel. Can we talk? Just us. No, Brian. I thought about it for approximately 30 seconds before responding. Amelie's 2 p.m. Emily's was the French bakery in Noda where Rachel and I used to study together in college. It seemed fitting to end things where they had started. She was already there when I arrived, sitting in the corner booth we had claimed as ours back when we were friends. She looked terrible. No makeup, hair in a messy bun, dark circles under her eyes. Hi, she said quietly when I sat down. We sat in silence for a moment before she spoke. I know you hate me. I do not hate you. I interrupted. Hate would require me to care about you. I nothing you, Rachel. You are nothing to me. She flinched. I deserve that. You deserve a lot worse than that. I know. She took a shaky breath. I wanted to explain. Explain what? How you encouraged me to talk to your boyfriend at that tailgate. How you watched me fall for him knowing you were sleeping with him. How you moved to Raleigh to make it easier to maintain your affair. I did not move to Raleigh, she said quietly. I never left Charlotte. I just told you that so I would not have to see you anymore. That hit me like a punch to the gut. You have been here this whole time. I live in Dilworth, 4 blocks from Brian. 4 blocks. She had been 4 blocks away from him this entire time. How could you do this? I asked. We were friends. We were best friends. I loved him first, she said, and there was a hint of defiance in her voice. I met him before you did, we were together first. Then why? Why push us together? She was quiet for a long moment, because I wanted to see if he would choose me. It was a test. If he could have you pretty fun, everything I am not, and still come back to me, then I would know it was real. I stared at her in disbelief. You used me as a test? It was not supposed to last 3 years, she said desperately. He was supposed to date you for a few months, realize I was the one he really wanted, and end it. But he did not. He kept seeing both of us, and I kept waiting for him to choose, and he never did. So you just went along with it? For 3 years? I kept thinking he would eventually pick me, she said, tears streaming down her face. Our families love each other. We have the same friends, the same values, the same goals. You were supposed to be temporary. But I was not. No, she admitted. You were not, and the longer it went on, the harder it became to stop, because if I gave him an ultimatum and he chose you would lose. I would lose everything. Not just him, but the future we planned, the families we were joining, the life we were building. So instead you chose to live a lie. We both did. All 3 of us did. No, I said firmly. I did not choose this. I did not know there was a choice to make. You and Brian took that away from me. She nodded, wiping her eyes. You are right. I am sorry, I am so sorry. Are you still with him? No. I ended it the day the wedding photos came out. Blocked him on everything, told my parents the truth. They are not taking it well. Good? We sat in silence for another moment. For what it is worth, she said finally, he did love you. Maybe more than he loved me. That is why I could never fully hate you even though I wanted to. Because when he talked about you, he talked to you about me. All the time. How smart you were, how funny, how you made him feel like a better person. It was torture, but I listened because at least when he was talking about you, he was with me. That is seriously messed up, Rachel. I know. I need therapy. A lot of therapy. She stood to leave, then paused. Can I ask you something? I nodded. Was any of it real? Our friendship? Before Brian? I thought about it. Yeah, it was real, which is what makes this so much worse. She nodded and left without another word. I sat in that booth for another hour, processing everything. The elaborate deception, the careful planning, the way both of them had manipulated me for years. But mostly I thought about the fact that I was finally free. Monday morning, I blocked Brian on everything. Phone, social media, email, everything. I told my work that if he showed up, they should call security. I was done. But Brian was not done with me. He started showing up everywhere. Outside my work, at my gym, at the grocery store. Not approaching me, just there, watching, waiting for me to acknowledge him. Tasha wanted to call the police, but I had a better idea. I took photos every time I saw him. Built a file. And then I sent everything to his employer's HR department with a note explaining that one of their employees was stalking his ex-girlfriend. He was not fired, but he was given a warning and told to cease all contact immediately or face termination. The last time I heard from Brian was 2 weeks later. A letter handwritten delivered to my apartment. It was 10 pages long. 10 pages of apologies, explanations, declarations of love, and promises to change. I read the whole thing, then threw it in the trash. At the bottom he had written, I know you will probably never forgive me, but I need you to know that you were never the other woman. In my heart, you were always the only woman. Rachel was the obligation. You were the choice. As if that made it better. As if that erased 3 years of lies. It has been a month now since everything exploded. I heard through the Charlotte grapevine that Brian has been essentially exiled from his social circle. His parents are embarrassed, Rachel's parents are furious, and even his brother Tyler will not speak to him. Rachel moved back to her parents' house in Huntersville. Someone told me she deleted all her social media and is considering moving out of state. And me? I am doing okay. Better than okay, actually. I started seeing a therapist to process everything. I threw myself into work and actually got promoted to shift supervisor. I am taking a pottery class on Thursdays, something Brian always said was a waste of time. Turns out I am actually pretty good at it. Last week, I ran into Tyler at Harris Teeter. He apologized again for his brother's behavior and asked if I was doing all right. We ended up talking for an hour in the produce section. He is nothing like Brian. Honest, straightforward, actually genuine. We are having coffee next week. Not a date, just coffee. But still. The funny thing is, I do not even miss Brian anymore. I miss the relationship I thought I had, the future I thought we were building. But Brian himself, the real Brian, not the character he played for me. I do not miss him at all. Because here is what I learned. Love does not hide. Love does not compartmentalize. Love does not require you to compete for it. Love does not make you question your reality. Love does not lie. What Brian and Rachel did to me was not love. It was possession, manipulation, control. They turned me into a pawn in their sick game, and for 3 years I did not even know I was playing. But I am not playing anymore. I am done being anyone's secret, anyone's test, anyone's second choice disguised as their first. Brian can explain to his next girlfriend why his last relationship ended with him stalking me through Charlotte, while his other girlfriend disappeared to Huntersville in shame. He can explain why his family is barely speaking to him, why his reputation is destroyed, why he lost everything. Or he can lie about it. Create some new elaborate deception, some new character to play, but it will not be my problem anymore. I am free. Finally, completely beautifully free. And that is worth more than 3 years with someone who never really existed anyway.